New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello there. It's me, yes, me, Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for joining me, whatever time it is, day or night. Know that it's the right time for you and I to be together. So what I want to ask you is for this next, our time together, why don't you just make this time about you and for you? Grab a cup of coffee, a glass of tea, a glass of wine, whatever does it for you this time of the day, and just settle in and make this about you and for you. And also feel free to drop a line or a comment. I would love to have your questions. And even if you're watching this later when we're no longer live, if you send a question or a comment, I still receive that and can answer it. So know that I am here for you. And I want to start with, I want to read a little something about grief. And I've read this before because I think sometimes we get confused about what is loss, what is grief. And I want to say loss is what we experience and grief is what we feel. And grief is just an emotional response to a loss. And believe me, we suffer a myriad of losses. The first thing that comes to mind is the loss of a loved one. And yes, there is no bigger hole that you'll ever have blown through your heart than the loss of a loved one. And with that said, though, with saying that, what about a divorce? What about a loss of a friendship that you've had a friend for a long time and lost that relationship? What about a geographical move, where you're now suddenly in a different location and the whole rhythm of your life has changed? And then we can go on to a loss of a job, health, illness, mutilative surgeries that leave your body totally different than what they were prior to that surgery. So just know that we suffer so many tremendous losses in our lives that we don't even stop to unpack and feel. Well, the one that I can think about most recent was 2020 with COVID, with all the lockdowns that happened. There were so many losses that occurred that we as a society haven't even had time to unpack the things that we've lost. Even there's lifestyle losses with that as well, or friends. And I know some of us lost friends during COVID, but even if you didn't lose a friend, there were still some shifts and changes that happened in your life that your life just did not go back to the way it was before. So I do have a special guest, and before I bring her on, I'm just going to read you this about grief, and we'll get her insight, and we have other things we'll discuss as well. But I thought this would be a good time to have this reminder of grief. This is by Mark Matusek. And he says, grief may be the greatest healing experience of a lifetime. It's certainly one of the hottest fires we will encounter. It penetrates the hard layers of our self-protection, plunges us into the sadness, fear, and despair we have tried so hard to avoid. Grief is unpredictable, uncontrollable. There are no shortcuts around grief. The only way is right through the middle. Some say time heals, but that's a half truth. Time alone doesn't heal, but time and attention heal. In grief, we access parts of ourselves that were somehow unavailable to us in the past. With awareness, the journey through grief becomes a path to wholeness. Grief can lead us to a profound understanding that reaches beyond our individual loss. It opens us to the most essential truth of our lives, and that truth is of impermanence, which is the cause of suffering and the illusion of separation. When we meet these experiences with mercy and awareness, we begin to appreciate that we are more than the grief. We are what the grief is moving through. In the end, we may still fear death, but we don't fear living nearly as much. In surrendering to our grief, we have learned to give ourselves more fully to life. As I said, that's by Mark Matusek. So just wanted to hold that about grief, that it is a transformative power. And I feel that nothing turns or amplifies our grief more than moving through the holidays. And so today, my special guest and I will talk about grief, how we can navigate the holidays. So I think it's time to bring on my special guest and dearest friend, and that is Dr. Reverend Davis Jones. Did I say your first name, Deborah? Reverend Doctor. I was doing too many Reverend Doctors. Reverend Davis Jones, but I lost my own train of thought. But thank you, and Deborah and I have been co-hosting some shows here lately, and so we'll continue that, especially through the holidays. Deborah, how are you today, and what do you want to say?
I am well. I wish I had the profound things that you have.
No, for the ability to find
profound things. And today I probably would have, except I had this impromptu brunch at my house, and they're still here.
How exciting! We'll say wonderful things about them.
But I guess it's a good way to start the holiday season. So I'll just say greetings and personal privilege. I'm so glad to have my friend back home.
Yes, we're back together, as Peaches and Herb would have said, reunited. I'm back in town. Deborah, well, thank you so much for your yes, as always. And as we've discussed, and we had this 2 weeks ago, that we talked about navigating grief during the holidays. Because some people that I know, and I'm one of those, that we think of the holidays and it's like, oh, can I just get through this? Can I pull the cover up over my head and just wake up on the other side, have it New Year's or post Super Bowl or whenever your holidays finish. So any thoughts around that, Deborah, about why and how holidays can be difficult for people?
Well, I think it's difficult for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's a time that everyone puts on. It's a time of celebration and fun, and we're supposed to be jolly, and we're going from place to place and house to house, and we're just everybody's supposed to be so happy. And then another thing that they around the holidays is a tradition, and traditions are well, I always say traditions are what live people do to keep dead people happy, but.
Well, they're still with us, so
yeah. Sometimes they get so involved in traditions and the way they used to be, and if the person has experienced loss, well, you have to develop new traditions, and so I think this time is a time where you really can feel the difference of someone not being there who was once there, even if it was some years ago. But
Oh,
because you think back on those traditions, and so all this time, and you're watching people saying chestnuts roasting, and then you're just supposed to be
man.
jolly, and so sometimes it's very difficult because this is the time where people are supposed to be jolly. But I think if we pull the cover back, there are a lot of people who are not as jolly as they appear to be. And so I think if you
Right.
have loss during this time, it's really difficult because everybody thinks you're supposed to have a smile on
Mhm.
your face.
Yes. And you said a key word, tradition. Traditions can be a double-edged sword. They can truly be a
Mm-hmm.
double-edged sword. They can be like, oh, yes, we'll do X, Y, and Z. But I feel that traditions sometimes prevent us from asking ourselves, what do I want to do today? Maybe I want to go to the zoo, or maybe I would just want to go for a long ride in the car. Maybe I don't want to sit at the table and break bread with family and friends. So I think it can be a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Deborah, that's what you and I are encouraging people to really check in with themselves with our conversation that we'll have today, to
Mm-hmm.
check in with themselves to see what it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I always encourage my clients, family, friends who've had losses around this time of the year, or going through whatever may be presenting itself. My number one thing is to just have a plan. Just have a plan
Mm-hmm.
of how you're going to navigate that day. And
Mm-hmm.
even if that plan is to stay in bed and eat popcorn, watch silly movie, that's your plan. Or you can make a plan, and when that day comes, if you feel like doing something else, scrap that plan. Yeah. And Deborah, you were saying you were having a wonderful little soiree this morning with
Yeah.
with close friends, and that you guys would bring up the topic of getting
Yeah,
through holidays. So
yeah,
you
we
want to
did.
share?
Yeah, and we did have some good discussion. And as you were talking about the plan, I was listening to a speaker yesterday who brought up something that I really hadn't thought about, and it was kind of in a different context. But they were talking about they had been invited over Thanksgiving dinner, um, and they said, but before they went, they asked who's going to be there
Yes. Okay.
because because in that there may be some people that were there that it would be too much energy
Mm-hmm.
to have to
Mm-hmm.
be invested to just be an active part of and sometimes you're with that group that you're there because they're friends, but their friends may not be your friends, and so some friends, especially if you've dealt with a loss, some friends are okay with you saying, I'm here, I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, I'm going to eat, and if I'm going to engage as much as I feel like engaging,
Mm-hmm.
and they understand and they support you in that. But if you're with a group of people that don't know you,
Mm-hmm.
it may be excuse me,
Yeah.
it may be difficult for you because you're really out of your comfort zone. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought of that. I hadn't thought about it. It's like, well, they may mean well, but you need to ask, well, who's there? Because it may be some people that that really don't understand you and what you're going through.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
so,
Yeah. Thank you.
and I hadn't thought about that, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But the other
Well,
thing that came out was do for other people. Spend that time doing things for other people. One person said that when she was in deep grief, she went out and she baked pies. She baked pies for people that may not have had anyone, or may not have, you
mm-hmm.
know, have been by themselves, or that. And so she said she was with a group and they baked pies and they gave them to
Yes.
homebound people. They gave them to people that they knew had no one else. And so they did that. They baked pies, and of course, they go out. People go out and they feed the homeless. They do
Oh,
those
yeah.
kinds of things. But to get out of grief, to move the focus from from where you are to helping someone else. Another thing.
And I just want to add to that, that is a great reminder to any time that you're really feeling down, depressed, it never fails. If you do something for someone else, you will definitely, that energy that you're giving to them comes back to you and restores you. And also, Deborah, when you talked about asking who's going to be there for dinner, or I call it being ruthless with self-care.
Absolutely.
And some people think of self-care as a massage, manicure, pedicure. Yes, that's beautiful. But self-care is about protecting your energy, protecting your emotional state. Being aware of it. Like, no, I'd love to come for dinner, but that sounds like too many people for right now.
That's right.
Or, I'll just use this casually. I'm going to ditch that group of friends because I'd rather be over there with the other group of friends that really lift my spirits. So ruthless with self-care, checking in with you to see what it is that you want to do. So I'll let you finish, Deborah. Thank you.
And that's true. And being able to say, I'm going to come and eat dinner, but I'm not going to stay the whole evening, but I appreciate it. But I just am not, I'm just going to eat dinner and stay for a little while, but I'm going to go home. And don't take it personally. This is where I am today.
This is where I am. What is that? I'm doing the best I can. Every day I'm doing the best that I can, but every day can be a little bit different. The best we can do can be a little bit different.
Another thing that they talked about was going around community, your community. That's what today, what we actually have a 38-year-old here.
What does that look like? Could you get a snapshot?
I know, young, no gray hair.
Did you take a picture of that?
I know. But his insight was, in fact, he's the reason we had this gathering here. He ended up inviting on this.
But he's the reason for the season.
But he said that he felt that because he's lost his mother to a very long illness, he said the community, not just a group of friends, but the community. I think today when he came, he felt like he was with the aunties.
Oh, sweetness.
I think he felt like he was with the aunties. His father and stepmother were here, but all the other women, I think he felt like I'm with the aunties. Yeah. And that's something that he said, the community.
So being community. Okay. Yes.
And then someone, when she left a note, and she was talking about, let me see, because, again, I said, well, you don't have to answer now, but think about it. Everybody doesn't want to just share openly.
That's true. That's true. Very.
And she said, my contribution to the grief conversation is listening. I think it is the greatest gift you can give someone who's grieving. Allowing someone to say whatever they want or need to say without interrupting, judgment, or coaching. Someone did that for me when my mother passed. It was wonderful. And even in the context of holidays, we need to understand if someone is there and they say I'm okay, and they're there, but they're not in the middle of the conversation, or they're not. But if they're there and they look like they're at peace, you ask, are you okay? And they say, okay. Then just let them be there. Just let them be there that day, and let them know when you feel like being in the conversation, you can be in the conversation. But there are times that you might just want to be around some people, but you don't want to engage. Sometimes it's just entertaining. Just watching.
It's a distraction. What do they call that? A diversional activity. It's a distraction. And maybe you don't want to be involved in the conversation, but you like listening and paying attention to what people are
I'm
saying.
telling you, because the conversation here, I could have sold tickets.
Oh, wow. Who missed
You
that
know,
opportunity?
Yeah,
Or
well, just
filming.
yeah, just people. And then now, and then another. See, I'm just going to be personal, but one thing that really makes my day, and we always laugh, is your husband. Because your husband was my husband's friend, and every time your husband asks for a cup of coffee, it just makes my day because they were friends, and it just makes me know that the spirit, and there are people around that still remember and care. And so things that we think are big things, they're the little things that go on.
Yes. And that's what I was going to add to the conversation when you were talking about being with people, and being with people that you can talk about your loved one with. Because you know those people that are not comfortable with the subject, the idea of death, that you can't even get near them with it. So choose those people that you can talk to, that's comfortable, that we could talk about Ralph on Thanksgiving Day. Though I didn't meet Ralph, but Tito, met Ralph, and we could still share those kinds of, good times and good memories. And I also want to add that if you are not the person in grief, please reach out to someone that may be in grief. Please reach out. My tagline is, we can't do grief alone. We really can't. Deborah talked about that, about being in community. So if you know someone, reach out. And I want to add this, because Deborah said that. You talked about this, Deborah, that if you're going to be with someone, be 100% present. I say, give yourself permission. If you know that I can't go to Barbara's house and talk about, her dog Daisy that died last month, I just can't do it. Don't go. Don't go. There's nothing worse than showing up physically, but not being there emotionally. So take care of yourself and do what you can to help someone else. Do what you can when you can. I just wanted to pop that in there.
That's so true. Just be present, and for goodness sake, put the phone down.
Are you talking about the cell phone or the old landline? What you're talking about?
Because and when you were talking about just being present, and as you're talking, or you just being with someone, and you got to check on your phone, you got to scroll on your phone and check on the thing, and it's like, well, you know what? If it's that important, perhaps you should not have come, or what you're going on, because like you were saying, when you're with someone, be present.
Yes.
Be present. Yeah.
And I want to emphasize too about being present. I want to talk about just for a second about people say, well, I don't want to call Deborah. I don't want to go over because I don't know what to say, and I don't want to make her feel worse, and she's already feeling. I just want to assure people that you never underestimate the power of your presence in someone's life, just the power of their presence. And when people talk about they don't know what to say, you don't need to say anything, because there is nothing that you're going to say that's going to make them feel better about their loss. But just to know that someone else cares, that is the healing balm. That's what starts the healing balm, to know that someone else cares. So don't worry about it. Just
and I have found that another thing, especially this time of year, is and I lost my train of thought.
This time of the year, you said one thing, and I was just talking about being present.
Right. After, when you first have a loss, everyone is there.
Mm.
Everyone
Oh,
is there when you first have that loss. And I think it's important, especially this time of year, if they experienced the loss a while ago, especially after everybody's gone home and gone back to their life. And then that person is there or you're there. And so I think it means a lot when you just take a minute and say, hey, I was just thinking, how are you? I'm not even going to hold you long. I just want to hear your voice. I just want to hear your voice. I did that yesterday. To one of my closest friends whose husband died, just dropped dead. He had a massive heart attack earlier this year, and we had kind of been missing each other. And finally, I called her daughter. I said, I need to look at her face.
yeah.
I just need to know. We don't have to have a long conversation. But I said, I get these texts and her saying, okay, I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine. But that is what not me as a friend. And like I said, I don't have to have a long conversation with you. I just need to look at your face. I just need to hear your voice. I just need to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important. Like you said, you don't have to have a long conversation.
No.
You can take some cupcakes over. You can, say, I just came over to bring a cupcake and have some coffee or some tea with you. But I just need to look at your face because they may not even be up to a long visit. But like you said, just being present, saying,
just being present,
just being present.
And so there was a couple of things I want to ask, and I wanted to keep the show to minimal today, but I'm going to there was two questions I want to ask. And well, I'll just go with the one that's kind of burning away. What is the nicest thing that someone said or did for you when you lost Frank?
You mean Ralph?
Oh, Ralph. Well, Frank, I hope Frank's okay. Ralph, what's the kind of thing
that guy you tried to set me up with?
and I've already buried him. So yeah. So I was just I'll share something. I'll let you share. I just remember when my brother died, Melvin. He's my baby brother, and he died on Valentine's Day, and it just one of those really, really difficult moments in life. Just some difficult moments in life. But I remember that a friend, I guess I was talking to her to just tell her that my brother had died. She was a close friend, and she said, "Oh, Bonnie," she said, "today is Valentine's Day. Everybody is talking about love. Everybody's in love. Your brother died on a day where he's surrounded by love." And that has carried me through. It's been 5 years, and I think it will carry me through the rest of my life. Was there any semblance of that for you with your loss with Ralph? Not Frank, whoever. Ralph.
Not Frank.
Yeah. What was the kindest thing you
Ralph
did?
passed the day before Valentine's Day.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that is right.
I said to myself, about he's at the big love party. So this was something that my two friends, well, Candy and Kent.
Oh, yes.
And when Ralph passed, Candy said, "Don't worry about anything. We have this."
Oh.
And because, I was new here. I didn't know anyone. I mean, I was new. And they said, "Don't worry about." And so every time I said, "Well, I need to do this," and they had already said, "We've already taken care of it." And so there was a thing I was trying to do, and to me, it wasn't perfect. And I'm the retired teacher, and the perfectionism came out. And as I was, because you just want everything perfect. And Kent said to me, "Well, I'm going to tell you, if they don't care, they won't notice. And if they do care, it won't matter." This perfect thing I was trying to do. Yeah. And that let me go, okay.
Yeah, just repeat it once more. Repeat it once more. Yeah.
Because it was something that it was some written stuff, and I was like, well, the margins are off. He said, look, if they don't care, they won't notice. And if they do care, it won't matter because they're focused on supporting you. And of course, that's how we met, because their words were, don't worry about anything.
Oh, beautiful.
And then they went. And so I think that's important. That's important because especially if it's a spouse or someone very close and you're trying to handle everything. And sometimes, you got all these things and you just need someone to say, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
You just go and breathe.
Great.
You just go and breathe. Tell us what you need. And you just, and then have enough faith in them to
allow them to do
them, to trust them to do it.
Exactly. And that just goes back to, we can't do grief alone. Grieving, especially those initial, stages of just shock of what's happened, where you're, 10% of your brain is being used to process that this big loss that's happened. So lots of people refer to it as a brain fog. You're in this fog and not knowing. It's like the rug's been pulled from under you. So, so I was going to say, wanted to do a little bit of a recap for our holiday.
Okay.
So the one that I remember most is Ruthless with Self-Care. There was one about being in community and doing something for someone else. What else do you? Breaking tradition. Breaking
a tradition, but starting a new one. Start something new. Start something new that because life does go on, and so think of something that will embody that loss. But also, this is how we're going to celebrate this. And so start a new tradition. Maybe something you have been thinking about doing, or the two of you had said that you were going to do. You just never got around to doing it. And so I would say start a new tradition.
Or start a new tradition. And how about renewing for yourself what you want to do moving forward? Because this is that time of the year that we start to reflect. So what can you do to renew your life? What goal, what hopes, what dreams do you have that you can use the energy of that to boost through the holidays?
That is so true, because within our faith tradition, this starting Sunday starts a time called Advent, and Advent is likened to being your 9th month of pregnancy. Right. Because in your 9th month, you're beginning to say, this is a new life that's coming. And so how do I prepare for this new life? And so again, like you're saying, it's that time to really stop, and especially this holiday season, reflect on what's important. Reflect on what's really important for you, and like you said too, make a plan. Make a plan, not only to get through the holidays, but what thing do I want to do next year that I maybe thought about doing but just never did, or it's just. And so really, like you said, spend some time because this is that time of year that we look at all around. We're talking about new things, and so what, as you said, what do I want to be next year? Where can I fit this important part of me, but that is lost? But how can I put this in my life and to make my life better? Because it was a part of me. But how can I do this next year or the year after? Because life has gone on, but that loss is still very much a part of you.
And I love that, just being renewed, a renewal. And I'm gonna just do a little bit of a plug. I'll ask Joe to just show the book. I wrote a book this year, and it's called Blindsided by Grief. And thank you. So it's Blindsided by Grief, and it's Bonnie. You can find it on wherever you buy books, of course, online. But thank you, Joe. But I was going to say, in the back of this book, I have 28 days of mindfully tending your grief. Mindfully tending your grief. And Deborah, you triggered this just now with that thought of 2 for next year. But I have one of the things that you can do of those 28 days is make a list of your favorite things. Remember Sound of Music, raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright colored. Anyway, making a list of your favorite things. And when you're feeling down, look at that. Choose something from that list of favorite things that can brighten your life. So the best time to do this is when you're feeling good, not waiting for when you feel good, because it's going to be harder to come by. So anyway, make a list of your favorite things and have that to help you move through this holiday season. And I just say, expect the unexpected. Don't even have it like, wow, I shouldn't be feeling like this. It's the holiday. Oh, so many people. I love this when people say, oh, but you've got so much to be grateful for. It's like, I didn't say I didn't. So just accepting, yes, being in acceptance for what is. And I think we've given our audience some things to contemplate and to jot down and come back to. And is there anything that you'd like to say on closing, on getting through the holidays with our group?
Just enjoy your life. And to say, sometimes when people give you advice, you just go, thanks, and don't internalize it. Don't internalize them, because everybody has I always say, opinions are like noses. Everybody has one. Each nose has 2 nostrils, and so they have 2 opinions about how you need to deal with grief. And so at some point, sometimes just like you said, oh, you should be thankful. It's like, I really didn't ask you for that, but at some point, just go, okay, and just say, you know what, I am good. I'm going to make it through. I am okay. And I'm okay. And it's going to be okay. But I may have a couple bad days, but I'm okay. And thank you for your advice, and just keep it moving, because everybody gives you advice based on their frame of reference.
Yes, exactly. And I was going to say, we can hold both. We can be in deep gratitude and we can have sorrow.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And guess what? It's okay, even in your grief, to smile and to feel good about yourself, about your life, because what is the 5-step program talks about the serenity prayer.
12-step program.
Yeah, 12-step program. Okay. And what you can change, what you can't not, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes, exactly.
Change it, accept it. But when you start feeling it down, start remembering the good things.
Yes. Thank you, Deborah.
Start remembering the good things.
Remembering the good things. Oh. Well, thank you, Deborah. You're always just a wise woman, a woman filled with wisdom. You're one of the wisdom keepers. And I appreciate you. So appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Your insights. So we're going to wish everybody a happy holiday. Yes. I know this is not keeping this program green when I say Thanksgiving is Thursday, but anyway, it's Thursday. So I want to say happy holiday, and you have the right to spend that day however you choose. Yes. You have the right, and you have the right to have it honored. And start by honoring yourself by saying, what do I want to do this day? Just one last thing. I'll ask Joe to just put up, I am offering a retreat here in Mexico. It's starting February 14th through the 17th, and it's Hearts and Healing, and it's a grief relief retreat. So go to my website and you can check it out and give me a call. if you're ready to heal your heart that's in grief. Thank you, Joe. So, Deborah, thank you so much for, as I said, your insight. And when you're just talking about being happy, we have that right to be happy. So I want you, each person, after you turn the program off, I just want you to go to the mirror, and I want you to look yourself in the eye. I want you to look yourself in the eye and say, what do I need today? What is my grief asking of me today? So what do I need today? And whatever comes up, honor it. Know that you are so worthy of moving through your grief, moving to that place of renewal and rebirth. So do that for yourself. You are worthy. And with that, I say namaste. Thank Deborah for being here. So ashe, amen. I think and so it is, and so mote it be.
Hasta la vista. So long.
All righty. Ciao, ciao. Thank you, Deborah.
Bye.
Ciao.